Funny enough, Google is using AI to combat AI.
Yeah.
So they have AI tools that can then detect, is this content AI generated?
And $1 billion company using AI is probably a little bit ahead of you using ChatGPT for free. Hello, Internet, and here we are today talking about SEO. I'm James.
I'm Thomas.
And Thomas, if you didn't know, this is the first time on the show here, between two creeks, and we should call it between one fern or across from one fern, but we're original like that. So Thomas is a co-founder of Twin Creek Media. Actually, we've known each other for 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
Yeah. So we met back in art school, like digital technical school, the Center for Arts and Technology here in our town, back in 2004.
Yep, sounds right.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because our first class back then was Photoshop, and Illustrator. I think was Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop were like our first semester, first classes, and Thomas was good, like remarkably techie. I'm like, I got to get to know this guy better. So, fast forward a few years, we started a company in school, actually kind of just contracting a little bit. And then, now we're business partners in Twin Creek Media. He's our technical director. And good thing because we're talking about SEO and search engine optimization. It's a very technical field. And Thomas has been keeping up with that for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, SEO has been around probably as long as the internet has been around.
Yeah.
It's always the battle of how do I get found? How do I get my website to get found by, well, back in the day it was Yahoo. You remember Yahoo?
Yep.
Yeah, Yahoo, and then Google was the new kid on the block, and now it's pretty much the only kid on the block, if you want to call it that.
That's right. I mean, Bing.
Bing is still out there. Yahoo is still around, but I mean, really, Google is the benchmark.
I think it's 90% market share or something like that.
And if you do well on Google, you're going to do well everywhere else as well.
Yeah.
But Google is the big kid.
Yeah, that's right. So let's rewind the tape a little bit and say what's the point? Like, why should business owners and marketing managers care about SEO so much? It's probably not news unless you've been living under a rock for the last 20 years. But if you rank better, you have way more website traffic and you end up with way more business, whether that's generating leads or e-commerce sales or even more people visiting your store if you have a physical store. So it's just about being in people's face. So Google or another search engine, they're trying to play the matchmaker. So that's all they're trying to do. That's SEO boiled down to its raw one-liner is Google is trying to match people's searches. So if I'm searching for Christmas pajamas because I want to buy some gifts, or if I'm searching for best Italian wine, or if I'm searching for Kelowna accountant or, inner city, doesn't matter. I mean, whatever search you want to say, Google's like, oh, I got the top 10 right here. I got the best businesses or the best websites for you. And it's trying to generate those results instantaneously and have them really high quality, really accurate. So it's trying to put in front of you what you want, right? And that's it. That's the whole thing. And if you're kind of beyond ranking in the top 10, it falls off really fast.
Yeah, you're looking at like a 80-90% click drop off based on first page to second page. Like, no, if people can't find you on the first page, unless they're really dedicated and they just can't remember your name, but they are looking for you, they're not going to click and continue on page 2, 3, 4.
What should a business do if they don't rank at all organically?
Well, Google is in the business of making money, so the easy trick is you can buy your way to the top. That's called Google Ads, and that's the results you're going to get, like front and center. There's it changes daily. Sometimes there's 3 ads, sometimes there's 5. Google is expanding that, so it's taking up more space to actually have the paid listings, and then there's their own properties like the Google business profile, map listings, and all that stuff. And then you have your organic listings.
Yeah.
So you can be visible on page 1 without ranking strongly. Now, getting something for free is always better than paying for it, right?
That's right. I mean, it's technically not free because it's a heck of a lot of effort, or ranking organically, but it's more powerful. You don't want to use ads forever and ever and ever, at least not solely. I mean, we often use them in combination. We do SEO practices and build up rankings for our clients' websites and businesses, but we're also using Google Ads as well, especially for words that are very, very hard to rank for organically. We might have organic rankings on specific long tail. We'll get into what that means. But then some very powerful generic words that are still driving a lot of business, we're going to use Google Ads. So search ads specifically, also known as pay-per-click. So yeah, when those ads show up, they don't cost you anything. They only cost you something if someone clicks on it. So we talked about, best wine in Italy or Christmas pajamas or whatever keyword search you're trying to. Yeah. So how would a business even figure out what sort of words they should be focusing on to match someone's search? Like, how do they know? They have a business in this industry, and then there's all this Google traffic looking for their company, their products and services. How does someone figure out what the keyword list is? And that's what we call it, a keyword list. Yeah,
and that's also a very important definition, keyword. Google sees the entire search, so that could be some people search in like sentence form. I want to find the best marketing agency in Kelowna. Like they will literally type that out.
Well, who they're going to find if they do that.
Exactly, right? So Google takes what we call the keyword out of that search, and that is the word you want to optimize for and be found under. Now, figuring that out is a process. There is things like you can research your competitors, like what are they ranking for? It's like, first of all, who are my competitors?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's an amazing question to ask.
Yeah. Like who's in your industry and who's a direct competitor, and they're ranking really, really well. It's like you want to do some analysis on them to figure out what's going on.
Well, there's twofold. Who's my competitor in my day-to-day business, and who's my competitor online? Like those two might actually not overlap either. Like businesses that rank really well for the keywords that we want to target versus what you actually do, like your local competitor. They might not rank that, but you do a lot of you compete with them a lot. But online, different ballgame.
Yeah.
Sometimes your online competitor isn't actually anywhere close to your local competitor, but they're still stealing the spotlight.
That's right.
And how do people think about you? Like, what words do they use to find you? Do they think in a country scope, or do they think in a city scope, like Kelowna? Do they no, I want to meet with someone face to face? They're going to use a local keyword. And that's one of the keyword types. So I want to search Kelowna best chocolate. Right? It's a very different result than Canada best chocolate or
just best chocolate.
Or just best chocolate, like shipped to Canada.
Yeah.
So that's where search intent comes in as well. So not only do we need to look at keywords, we also need to look at search intent. What is the intention of that search, and what are they actually looking for? Because that then determines of how likely are they going to click on your result and then ultimately buy something.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we use a whole bunch of tools in our agency to figure out what the keyword should be. So analysis tools, the research tools, Google keyword tool itself, as well as some third-party ones. And they're all trying to figure out the same thing. What are the best keywords to actually focus on that's going to drive the most people to your website? And also, like, how hard is it to rank for those particular things?
That's a great point.
The factors are, like if you search for best chocolate bar, but you put in your city name after that. So I want, best chocolate Calgary or best chocolate Vancouver. You're going to get a number, you're going to get a keyword volume, which tells you the estimated number of people searching for that each month. And that's going to be one number. But best chocolate bar Canada or best chocolate bar in the world, you're going to get a whole different set, right? And maybe you're not looking to buy though, so that's where intent comes in. But if you make chocolate, if you're a chocolatier, then you're trying to get customers, right? And order from you. So, but the big national ones or the more generic ones, just like best chocolate, or then shorten it down to one word, chocolate, the volume is going to be absolutely 10 times, 100 times, or even more per month. Like the search volume, there's 100 times more people searching for stuff because it's such a generic term.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing is actually adding negative keywords. So that's an important thing that we've discovered to stop wasting your effort. And this more plays into adding negative keywords to your Google search campaign list. So it prevents your ad showing up if someone types in a very specific thing. That's right. What's an example of a good negative keyword that we've saved, say, the budget instead of it blowing through $500 or $1,000 in a month on something we don't want?
Yep.
You actually prevent it from showing.
It actually came up with one of our clients, Pool Patrol. They used to sell pool fencing many years ago.
Okay.
And they ranked really well for it.
Yep.
But they're still getting searches and they're still getting inquiries for pool fencing.
And they don't sell it anymore.
They don't sell it anymore. It's like, I don't want any more inquiries for that. We don't sell it. So, one, on the Google Ads side, we needed to add a keyword, negative keyword, pool fencing. So do not spend any money on that keyword.
Yeah.
Now, what we did on the organic side is because we have a ranking that then, the page didn't exist anymore, but it bounced us back to the home page or like a not found page, which isn't great customer service. So what we actually did is we took that keyword and we made a page, like just a little mini page around it. So someone lands on it and actually says, hey, we used to sell this, we don't anymore, here's some options. This is what we sell instead, and it's much better than fencing. Right? Yeah. So that's a good example of why negative keywords are still important for your content strategy, for your keyword strategy.
So let's talk about the two types of SEO. In the industry, they're known as on-page SEO and off-page SEO. So what's on-page SEO? What does that entail?
On-page SEO is everything basically that you can directly control with your web presence. So that's usually your website. Yep. So things like, how is your content structured? How is it laid out? So how, when a person arrives on the homepage, for example, is there a clear structure of how do they get to your services? How do they get to your products? How do they buy your products? How do they contact you? So that whole flow is actually part of SEO as well, because they're called internal links.
So off-page SEO is another thing, and we don't have to get super into details, but what are a few off-page SEO things that you should be looking
So that's basically everything that you don't directly control on your website, but factors outside on the internet that still play a factor on getting you found. So that's something like how old is your domain name? Actually has a sort of a trust ranking with Google. How many other websites are linking to you? How do they see you as? Do they see you as like a market leader? Do they go to you for resources because you have an amazing information resource on your website and everyone's linking to you? That then tells Google that you must be important, so we should rank you higher.
And I always compare this to like a high school or something, so I translated it into English for non-techie people. It's like, does your website have any friends? If your website has no friends and you have a very unpopular website, you're not going to rank very well because no one likes your website. So including Google, right? But if your website has lots of friends, meaning that there's hundreds of other websites talking about you or sharing information or linking to you, it's like a handshake or a high five, you're kind of you're more popular. It's not just a popularity contest, but it's similar to that high school environment where you have some friends or you have no friends. So algorithm updates, how often do people have to be concerned about the pace of change, the speed of change?
So what we call an algorithm update is basically Google throwing a wrench into our lives as search engine optimizers, because they go, actually, you know what you've been doing for 5 years? We're not going to do this anymore. We're going to do it the other way. And the best part about algorithm updates is Google does not tell anyone when they're coming or what they're going to be.
So about how often do they happen?
We've seen them happen as quickly as every 3 months.
Okay.
We've seen them happen once a year. It is really all over the map.
Yeah. I mean, an example is blog posting. So writing articles on your website and posting them on a regular basis. The phrase that content is king, that used to be circulating around the SEO world. It's still mostly true. But there's a caveat there now where it's easy to create an article with ChatGTP or another one of those AI programs that kind of write the article for you, but it's regurgitating information that's already out there. There's nothing original. So Google's now trying to crank down, because it's so easy to crank out 500 words and throw it on your website. You can do it every day because the AI tool will generate the whole thing for you. But there's, again, nothing original. It's regurgitating what it finds. So that doesn't count as much as it used to. Because it used to be a lot of effort to write an article.
Yep.
Even if you were pulling in all these different sources, it was still took a lot of human effort. Yep. And because the effort is not much, possibly, then it's discounting that garbage information because it's not worth it. So, but if you do write stuff, or you post in video format, or you do a podcast, and it's your own ideas and your own experience, and you've added a lot of human twist to it. It does take effort, and Google is going to reward you for that because it's not regurgitated BS that you found, or that it has found from the internet, and it spits it out.
And funny enough, Google is using AI to combat AI.
Yeah.
So they have AI tools that can then detect, is this content AI generated?
And $1 billion company using AI is probably a little bit ahead of you using ChatGTP for free. To put this into kind of a real context, we have some case studies. We have some examples of companies we worked with that once their Google rankings increased, they got results and they're tangible, right? Another company we work with locally here in the Okanagan is Space Center Storage. They're a self-storage facility. They were already doing okay when we started working with them, about 8 years ago or so. But bit by bit, with some new technology and lots of content and really focusing on capturing the people looking for self-storage in all different facets, because there's all different ways and things that people are looking for that. So, but they have well over 100 terms, like keywords, ranking in the top 10.
Yep.
And their organic traffic is in the thousands per month. It's huge. For a local company, that's a lot. Yep. For a national company, you need 10,000s per month. But really, really cool. Another one is
Snore MD. They're based in the Lower Mainland, Vancouver area.
Yep.
They also have they're a sleep clinic that deals with CPAP machines. And they went from, how many clinics did they have when we started? 3 or 4?
Yeah, there's about
and now
4.
they're up to almost 20, I believe. They're in Alberta now as well.
Yeah.
Business is going good for them. And
that was a really neat one, because when you're opening a new medical clinic and it's a franchise, or a
physical,
chain,
actual
physical
brick and mortar.
stores.
Yeah.
So, but they would pick a city, right?
That's
and
right.
So we developed this playbook, this formula of here's how we're going to rank quickly. We got it down to a really short period of time. We were hitting some number ones out of the blue, but number one positions in about 60 days, which is really, really fast. So usually it takes much longer to rank that high in Google. Another local example is a garden center called the Greenery Garden Center, and we started their SEO efforts.
They're almost as we've
probably earlier than any other competition.
Yeah.
And that's why they got ahead.
Yeah.
And then because we were keeping up to date, they were staying really, really powerful.
They're a great example of the power of the domain age, because they've been around for so long, and they've been an online name for so long in the local market here.
Yeah. And even though it was why do they want to rank so well? I mean, they're a physical store. You have to go there in person.
Yeah.
But they're driving business from hundreds of kilometers away. They're a destination garden center now, because when people search, they find them from all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's just really powerful. So just to recap, I would say SEO for most people is a pain in the butt and it's boring. So that's why you need to partner with someone smart and someone smarter than you. Most business owners and even marketing managers, this isn't their specialty. So get someone on your team that knows what they're doing and round it out. But it makes such a big business impact to the tunes of hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars.
For sure.
So it's worth it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
All right.
See you guys.
Bye.